as usual, more technical difficulties. So, yeah. All right. Actually managed to get on a little earlier. What's going on, Camel Shark? Ooh. Still getting everything kind of situated, so I actually hit the go live button like a little bit sooner than I really wanted to, so we're almost ready here. What's going on, Dollar Bill Gated? What's going on, man? Welcome to the channel. Oh man, woo! It's nice out today. Spent a little time with the wife this morning. Out riding around, checking out some stuff. Who do I think will be a surprise team in the SEC? Ooh. I actually think that Texas A&M could surprise a lot of people. I think they're kind of flying under the radar a little bit right now. And Mizzou's got that bowl ban. I don't think their players are going to give them any intensity. What do you mean, what excuses that Bama used over Clemson? What excuses? I must have missed it. What's going on, Cyrus? Cyrus and Knox. Next door neighbor's doing a little weed eating. He's just about done. He should be wrapped up here in a minute. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but he's almost done. How can you be distracted in the national championship game? That doesn't even make any sense. That's the game you're playing for all year. It's like how can you look past that game? If they said that, that's ridiculous. What were you distracted by? I mean, you should have had your fill of whatever it was you wanted to have your fill of by the time you got to the national championship game. Brian asks, do I think we will finally get over the hump to losing to Alabama? Yes. So far, Kirby Smart has absolutely come the closest to beating him twice, kind of proving that it wasn't a fluke that we performed that well. So I think UGA will definitely overcome that problem. So a couple more minutes here, guys, and then we'll kind of get into the meat and potatoes of this show. And he has got that weed eater going. What's up, VTW? Glad to see you back, man. Florida players say score wasn't indicative of how close the game was. What was that final score? Like 38-17 or something? I mean, it's not exactly a 2-score game. It's a 3-score game. So that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess you're right. I guess the score was not an indicator of how close that game was. It was much farther apart. I got to say that because of the way that they've been trash talking. So, yeah. I mean, even Alabama players said that and Cameron just hit it. Even they said, that Georgia was the most physical team they played. I mean, I think that's a good indication that you're getting there. I think Clemson has several national championships. There's certainly a contender. I hope Purdue does, Bill. Clemson is certainly a contender, and Dabo Swinney has showed and proved that he can coach teams to get them to the national championship and win it. But I think that they don't have the legacy that Alabama does yet. I think it'll take them a long time before they did. So we'll see how it pans out. I will say though that the team that Clemson had to play before they played in the national championship game was not like playing Georgia. Just saying. Alabama had to play Georgia and then play a playoff game. And so they really did play some hard teams right there at the end. All right, we're about 5 minutes in. Irish suck. That ain't no joke. Florida needs another few years to reach the talent level of Georgia. I don't think they can beat Georgia. I think the problem that you have is that particular game is going to be the biggest game that Felipe Franks plays in. And Felipe Franks has already shown that if you get a lot of pressure on that guy, if you break down his game plan, he has no answer. There's nothing he can do. And when that happens, he falls apart. So it'll by far be the biggest game that he's played in, because they know in that game, actually they know game one, playing against Miami, that's a big game for them. They got to win that game. If they don't beat them, or if it's a close game when they roll in and they play Georgia, they're going to struggle. If they don't dominate everybody they play against, I don't think they're going to have the confidence level to deal with Georgia once they get to them. And obviously Georgia's going to be prepared. Cameron says, I think without Tua having a backup will hurt them versus Georgia. Of course it will. What's going on, John Anthony? It's been 2 years in a row, or 2 years back to back, that it was their backup quarterback that came in and gave us fits. We had good game plans, defensive game plans for their front run quarterback, but for whatever reason couldn't handle the backup. So, I mean, just is what it is. I want to kind of start getting into the SEC media days. I'm going to go through this probably as quick as I can, and I love to answer the comments, and I'm going to continue to do that. So, but I'm going to start and go through the coaches that I watched. I'm going to go and tell you guys I didn't look at Arkansas. There's no need. I didn't look at Vandy. I didn't look at Kentucky. I really didn't look at Mizzou. I didn't watch those coaches. I didn't feel there was a need to. But I'm gonna start at the bottom and kind of work my way up. And I'm gonna start with Jeremy Pruitt. We're about to have a defense that will make every college team salivate. That's right. Oh, to back up and to tell you about Florida, if you guys watched my other video about how Florida doesn't have any returning players, I mean, they got some returning players, but their offensive line is basically all brand new players. The guys have played in a total of 13 games, as long as you don't count the center. So I don't think that their offensive line is going to be prepared for what Georgia's going to bring on defense. So let's go back to, I'm going to start at the bottom and kind of work my way up, and I'm going to give you my analysis of what I thought each coach said and did. Jeremy Pruitt, he stepped on the stage, and it was kind of like hearing your neighbor apologize for running over your dog. I mean, it was just, it was like the guy was almost crying the whole time. I wasn't impressed. He didn't seem to have a lot of confidence. And what I really would have liked to have seen out of that guy was for him to stand up and go, hey man, you know, last year was a growing year. We got a lot of the right parts and a lot of the right places. We got it figured out now. And this is one of the things that kind of, he's like, you know, last year we went 5-7, but if I'd listened to my wife, we'd have went 8-4. And I'm like, you're okay with 8-4. See, part of me is like, dude, you can't be happy with 8-4. And then the other part of me is like, yeah, probably got to be happy with 8-4. But it's not something I would throw out there. I would be more about trying to rev the fan base up, trying to rev up that for recruiting. He didn't look like a very confident coach giving an explanation about what the team was going to do this year, their game plan. Oh, by the way, I did watch Dabo's, and I'll go over his too in a few minutes. And let's talk about Will Muschamp. Will Muschamp, South Carolina head coach. He kind of seemed to me that he was not bitter, but certainly unhappy with his team's performance. Somebody asked him a question, and I can't believe somebody asked this question if they were Clemson's little brother, or was it USC Junior or something like that, and he bristled. He was like, we're nobody's little brother. And I'm like, got a little fire to him, man. All right. A little fire to him. And so it was nice to see him flare a little bit. It was nice to see some passion, and I really appreciated that. I don't believe they got a shot at you know, winning the East. He did talk about the progress that Jake Bentley's making, and he really had some answers for some of the questions out there, but he seemed pretty feisty, and I like that. I'm not a South Carolina fan, but I like a coach that'll show a little fire. And let's jump over and talk about Coach Eddie, cousin Eddie. Coach Dan Mullen. Yeah, South Carolina will always be UGA's little brother. For a while there, we weren't, man. For a while there, man, Steve Spurrier had our number. God almighty, we couldn't beat that guy for nothing. But we got it turned around. But Dan Mullen gets up there, man, and it was just, I mean, I really thought it was Cousin Eddie from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, man. He was just a whole lot of nonsense, just stuff didn't make sense. What's going on, Vernon? Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. And don't worry, I'm gonna get to Coach Miles on here in a minute. Dan Mullen is over there. Just, it seemed like he dodged a lot of the issues, and I feel like nobody really put him on the spot and asked him, hey, why are you so vocal about, especially picking on Georgia whenever they've dominated you the past 2 years? And if you want to buy into that belief system that, the reason it was closer than the score, no, it's a 3-score game. I mean, if you want to say it's a 2-score game or a 1-score game or a field goal difference, and you want to say, hey, that game was really, really within our grasp, fine. But to walk out there and say, hey, last year or year before last, we almost got shut out. Last year, we barely scored twice. War Eagle, boy. Thanks, Vernon. I appreciate that. He said, War damn Eagle. SEC. Appreciate the super chat, sir. Always thankful. Always grateful for that. South Carolina will show Clemson's little brothers we own the Gamecocks 70-42-7. I don't even count the ties anymore, Tiger Raven. I don't. It's been so long since there's been a tie in a college football game. I don't even count those anymore. You can just roll with that 70-42. That's almost a double up score. So to me, yeah, they're a little brother. In-state rivalry, and you're killing them. Believe it or not, the gap between Georgia as far as the win-loss ratio is closer than that with Georgia Tech. Do I think Notre Dame is going to beat us? No. They have a good team, but they're not going to beat us. They have a good defensive line, but our offensive line will match up very well with them, and we're still going to create gaps. We're still going to have DeAndre Swift running down the field all over them. They said that after the same thing. Yeah, every year whenever we beat them, whatever. Can't believe they still got Dan Mullen there. I mean, they fired McElwain whenever he won the East. I think 2 years in a row, had one bad year, and they fired him. I was like, wow, what have you got to do? And then you see Dan Mullen come along, and he hadn't even get anywhere near that, and they still got him. So whatever. All right, so Coach Dan Mullen didn't really answer any questions, didn't say anything exciting. Auburn are the schizophrenic mascot school. One day it's War Eagle, and the next day it's Go Tigers. So confused. There's a lot of people that pick on them about that, and I think there's something about the Minutemen too. I'm not sure. But the one thing I'll say about Auburn, and I'm sorry, Vernon, Georgia-Auburn rivalry is legendary. It's epic. A wasp out here. And I'm going to tell you, that's one of my favorite games to watch every year. I get really excited about that game. And every year you see the Facebook posts about people picking on War Beagle, and I've made videos picking on them, and it's just college football. We talk smack. That's what we do. Do you think UGA will go 15-0? I believe it. That's a hard statement to jump out there and say, and it's a really, really hard statement to support if you do. Do I think Georgia can go 15-0? Yes, I believe they can go 15-0. However, I think Jake Fromm has got to step up. We've got to see some play calling changes in the secondary so that we can get in the secondary with the receiving core, so that we can take some deep shots and make those plays count and make them work. As we're just not taking very many. We don't. If you go back and you look at Jake Fromm's record, he's averaging like less than 2 passes of 20+ yards per game, And if you look at Clemson and you look at Alabama or even Oklahoma, they're averaging close to 4. So there's a big, big difference there. Not to mention we were dead last in, I think, all of college football in sacks. So we have to fix those problems. If we do that, we certainly have an opportunity. But we got some tough games we got to play. We got to play Auburn. We're probably going to end up playing Alabama in the SEC championship. We'll see what happens there. I think we got to play Texas A&M, and we got to play Florida. Florida top 5 team? No, but they're in top probably 15. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But is it doable? Yeah, it's doable. Plus, we have the best secret weapon in college football, the football god named Zeus. If Zamir can get out there and tear it up the way that we think he can, it'll be impressive. But again, he's unproven on he's unproven on a college turf. We just got to wait and see. No team on UGA schedule should beat us in a regular season. That's true. My favorite moment was going to the Clemson game when there was a hurricane versus Notre Dame in 2015. Yeah, that would have been awesome. I'm not gonna lie. That would have been really exciting. But let me get back to the coaches here, because I'll ramble. Oh, by the way, we're about 15 minutes in. Really appreciate all you guys that have jumped on. I am trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the beginning of football season, which is a little over a month away, and I really need you guys' help. I wouldn't have gotten this far without you guys' help. If you would, share this to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever it is that you frequent on social media. Please share the video. Please give it a thumbs up. That pushes it up in the suggested videos column through the YouTube algorithms, whatever you want to call them. It helps the channel grow, helps us out. Over the past 32 days, I've picked up 28 days. That's how YouTube runs their numbers. I've picked up about 50 subscribers. And if I'm going to get to 2,000, there's no way that's going to work. So I really, really need you guys' help. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at UGA Big Dog Brett. I post stuff on there more and more frequently. Comments that I see posted, memes that I see posted, stuff that pertains to the college. I follow some guys around the league, and a lot of times I will just retweet that stuff. If you guys want to reach out to me on there, feel free. I'll be glad to respond on there as well. I get a lot of action down in the comment section, and I always try to respond to you guys down there. Feel free to jump down there and tell me what you think and tell me what you want to see about this upcoming year. So thanks so much for being on the channel. I really appreciate it. But again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It's really important to me, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. So let's talk about so who's left here? Jimbo Fisher, Ed Orgeron, Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, and Gus Malzahn. So I guess I'll go with Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher. if you want to watch an entertaining coach at SEC Media Days, go watch this guy's 15, 20 minutes or whatever it was. Oh my goodness, man. This guy, I kid you not, I could not decide if he was a preacher, a used car salesman, or a guy selling a timeshare. I couldn't put it together. But it was one of those three and about 5 Starbucks espressos. Because I don't think that guy took a breath between questions. So somebody would ask him a question, and it was like one hilariously long run-on sentence. Like there was nowhere for him to stop to breathe, and he just go. It was funny. It was funny. The chat is not. Yeah. That guy was all over the place, man. My daughter heard you from the other room and said you sounded like a Southern Dr. Phil. I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or not, but at least she likes it, I guess. So, Southern Dr. Phil, that's terrible. That's terrible. So, listening to Jimbo Fisher, he was entertaining, he was exciting, and then I tried to take what he was doing there and imagine him in a locker room applying football terminology. And all that I could get to work in my head was hearing him go, yeah, what you want to do right now is you want to snap that ball, and when you get the ball on the side, I want you to run all the way around the end, and when you see that guy, I want you to throw it all the way to the other side of the field. And as soon as he catches it, he's going to run in for a touchdown. And then we're going to be happy. It was killing me, man. That guy was wide open. Somebody needs to give him a half a dose of Geritol next time. That was intense. All right. Now I got to pick on Beaker. I got to pick on Malzahn. The thing about Gus Malzahn is, of course, I can't like him because he's Auburn coach. I have ribbed, ragged, and worn out Gus Malzahn, and everybody has in the UGA fan base. If you look at that guy, you go, man, that's a goofy looking guy. But if you close your eyes and listen to him, he actually sounds pretty intelligent. Can you do an Obergeron impression? Yeah, I can. I'll get to him in a minute. I can do him. I used to live in Louisiana, so I can do Obergeron pretty good. What's going on, Jay? Thanks for jumping on, man. What's up, Benjamin Hawkins? Alabama linebacker Dylan Moses is still making excuses after we crushed the Crimson Tide. And sometimes you got to make excuses to be able to sleep at night. That's what happened after we lost in the national championship game. I had to make all kind of excuses. I was going through PTFD, post-traumatic football disorder. That man ruined me for a while. Suicide hotline on speed dial. All right, so Gus Malzahn, he got up there. He didn't really give away too much. Tyler Simmons was on sides. Yeah. Too late to point at it now, and then nobody's going to change if you do, and now it just sounds like whining, so we just have to move on. Do Auburns have a Georgia boy at QB? If not, they won't do much. I don't know. I think they're looking at, what's that guy's name? Not Nick. What was his name? Bo Nix. Is it Bo Nix? I think that's his name, Bo Nix. He's supposed to be pretty good. They still haven't settled a quarterback controversy there, and I can tell you from days past that's a problem. Georgia had that problem. It didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. It divided the fan base on some stuff. It was kind of nuts. So I think that's one of those things that needs to be settled pretty quick. Picking your quarterback's going to be, let the team know who the quarterback's going to be. Let them develop that cohesion. And maybe he has, and maybe he's just not telling the media because he wants it to be a surprise to whoever he's playing. But it would not surprise me at all if Bo Nix is out there. I watched some of that guy's videos. He can play. He can play. Gus Malzahn's got some big hurdles to get over. They brought up the fact that he has one of the toughest schedules in the SEC, and he just kind of shrugged it off. He actually played that part pretty well. He goes, what else is new? He goes, that's every year. That's every year. What's going on, Dwayne? Don't work too hard, man. Don't work too hard. Glad y'all having a great day. It's a great Saturday. It's nice out. Sun just popped out. It was nice and overcast this morning, nice and cool. Wish it'd stay that way, but it is what it is. So, looking at Gus Malzahn, I think and I'm kind of grading these guys on who did the best and who did the worst. I think Jeremy Pruitt probably did the worst. And then I would probably say Dan Mullen, and then Muschamp come up. And then I'd probably do Jimbo Fisher. And then I would do, I'm going to tie Nick Saban and Obergeron. And I'll get into that here in a second. I'll laugh if Ohio State keeps getting blown out to unranked opponents every year. They always do that. Benjamin asked, do I think Georgia's going to win all home games this season? Yeah, we should win every home game. That shouldn't be a big deal. I was running here in Dalton this morning. Otherwise, I would have missed the show being on the lake fishing. Hey, feel free to watch it after hours, man. I love when people jump on. It really helps the content. But I also like when people watch it after. It always surprises me. And I'm grateful for it. It always surprises me how I'll get on here and I'll do a show and I'll have anywhere from 15, sometimes I'll have 10, sometimes I'll have 30 people. Depending on the halftime show, I'll have sometimes 50 or 60 people. And it always surprises me how many people I get that watches the live stream, and then I will get afterwards another 200 viewers. So I know people watch it offline, and it's really, if you guys are watching it offline, thanks, I really appreciate it. But back to the coaches. Coach Obergeron, Actually, I'm going to put him above Nick Saban. I'm going to tie Kirby Smart and Nick Saban for the next set. Kirby Smart got out there, and it sounded like a post game or a pre game interview with him. I mean, it was just kind of the same old business as usual. Very comfortable in his skin. Nothing exciting. No new revelations. You know, they asked him, hey, what do you got to do to get over the hump with Alabama? And he was like, you know, just get rid of their backup quarterback. Tried to keep it kind of loose. You know, didn't fire any shots at anybody. Certainly had an opportunity to, but just kind of moved on business as usual. Can't be mad about that. And that's probably attributed to carbon copy of Nick Saban. You know, feels like 100 degrees in Terrapin territory right now. I keep forgetting you live up in Maryland, dude. It's hot up there right now. Nick Saban got out there and kind of did the same thing. He did say, like, right out of the gate, they asked him about his hip, and he was like, I'm 100%. Listen, guys, I appreciate that enthusiasm, but I don't know anybody who's over 50 years old that's going to have a hip replacement that's going to be 100% good to go in just a few months. That does not happen. Your body does not heal up that way. I'm in my 30s. I can twist my ankle, and it'd take me 2-3 months to get over that. Now, you're talking about a hip surgery, one of the most bloody, brutal surgeries they have. And if you don't believe me, go watch a video on it. It's a nasty surgery. Doing a hip replacement ain't no joke. There's no way that guy's 100%. I don't care who the surgeons are. He's still healing up. He ain't going to be running up and down that sideline. He might look good right now walking to it from a press conference, but he ain't going to be running up and down that sideline for a while yet. Now, he may be a lot better come start of football here in Atlanta, because the first game's played here in Atlanta with Alabama and, is it App State? Who are they playing for that opener? Somebody knows. Benjamin played tennis an hour ago. Feels good in Atlanta, no sun at all. I'm just south of Atlanta, VT Dub. Where you at? Where you at, Benjamin? Where you at? Duke, what are you talking about, VT Dub? So anyway, Chick-fil-A hit the spot. I had Bojangles this morning, sir. Bojangles was delicious. That Bo-Berry biscuit's made for you inside the perimeter. Okay. Put some ice in a bowl and run an electric fan through it. Duke, okay, yeah. Bama plays Duke. Yeah, they'll kill them. San Diego, Jarvis, get out of there, man. Man, you're over there in crazy country. Land of fruit and nuts, buddy. Get out of there. So, Nick Saban, he came out and he was polite. He was jovial. He joked around, had a good time. Seemed pretty comfortable in his skin. It's just another SEC media days. So just kind of the same run on the mill, what you would expect, confident but not overconfident. He seemed to be a little more, oh man, where are you at, 29 Palms? Jeez, dude. At the Air Force Base? Where are you at? So anyway, Nick Saban seemed to be a little happier than usual. I don't know why, but he said the team's really motivated. 32nd Street Naval Base. Okay. Well, appreciate your service, sir. Thank you so much for that. God bless you. God bless your family. Stay safe, and we really appreciate what you do for us. The thing about Nick Saban is that he's steady, right on course. He's going to do what he needs to do. He's going to follow the program. He's going to reload, and he's going to get after business. That's what he's done. That's what he's been doing. No reason for him to change. It doesn't look like the hip replacement was enough to, make him want to quit football, and nobody expected it would. But there were a lot of questions about how he would handle that change. Looks like he's doing fine, so good for him, and good for the Tide fans. Let's see, who's next? Coach Obergeron and Dabo Swinney. So let's talk about Dabo a minute. What's going on, son? So his mom made him take the trash out.
No.
Yeah. So, I know Dabo's not in the SEC. Come on, John. Give me a little credit, buddy. But the reason I bring up Dabo is because he is probably one of the most prolific coaches right now. So if you're going to compare the top coaches or all of the coaches in the SEC to another coach out there, I was really interested in to see how he was going to handle SEC media days, because it's very, very likely that he's going to be in the mix for a national championship again. I mean, they have a lot of returning players. They have a lot of elite athletes. Obviously, the coaches good. The coaches are good at what they do. They're recruiting well. There's no reason to believe they won't be in there. Dumbo Winnie, yeah, whiny. Met Dabo in 2009 after Florida State, in which he won. Guy shows up, and granted, it's not SEC media days, but it's a media. You see the way Dabo was dancing. Looks like he's been dipping to. I was waiting to see who was going to start that up. All that mic smacking he did against Clemson. Might be from all that butt kicking he's been handing out to everybody. That legs wore out from swinging that leg on that hip. So anyway, Dabo was completely different. SEC coaches, they show up suit, tie, dress shirt, look nice, try to talk fairly straightforward and honest, and he was just up there kind of like he was hanging out, man. Just, yeah, we're having a good time, you know, guys are practicing, and we got 4 parts drive playing. We're in phase 3 right now, you know. I mean, he seemed real comfortable, seemed real confident. He really did take the trash out on his own. He must want something then. That Amber is, for you guys who don't know, is my wife. She's Mrs. Big Dog. So that's all you're gonna get in abundance too. He said, I don't want nothing but love and affection. I said, good, that's all you're gonna get, and you're gonna get it in abundance. So Dabo just kind of seemed to be happy-go-lucky, Mr. Cool. If that works for him, that works, but we'll see how it works in the future. Does your son play football? He played for a couple of years. He's really interested in like JROTC. He's tall and he's fast. I'm trying to convince him to play. Convince him to play safety or cornerback, but he's on the fence. But that's his decision. If Clemson was in the SEC right now, we would be playing Georgia every year. Y'all are welcome to join. We'd probably kick Vandy out and take you guys. But honestly, if we do that, they'll probably just shut college football down in every other conference out there, because there'll be no need to watch it. So they probably won't do that. So anyway, let's see. He seemed to be very confident. I can understand why the players would want to watch him. I can understand why Clemson should be playing Georgia regardless. Yeah. But according to the record, just saying, according to the record, Georgia owns Clemson. Just go look it up. That's the way it is. Last time we played y'all, we beat you. Dabo Swinney wishes Clemson was playing Georgia every year. I bet he don't. Alabama wishes they don't play us every year. So that's not one of those teams you look on the schedule and go, we want to play Georgia. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you want, I'm going to tell you right now, if you gave me a choice tomorrow, if I had to play App State for the national championship or Clemson for the national championship, you know who I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick App State because I want the national championship, man. Woo. Y'all got any more of them national championships? Ain't had one in so long, man. I don't even know what to say anymore. So now I'm going to talk about Coach O. They don't want to get come into here and watch get the football. The Coach O, you know, they play hard football down there. Coach O, man. Every time I watch that guy, if you watch Coach O and you don't immediately think about the movie Waterboy, you don't know anything about football. Cause he get up there, man, you know, you come on down, let's play the football, ha ha, baby. Every time, man, I see that guy. Hey, Sorry, I'll work on it next week for you, John. If Kentucky been in Clemson's spot last year, they would have made the playoffs 11-1. That is absolutely true. I think if Kentucky would have been over there, if Florida would have been over there, if LSU would have been over there, Texas A&M would have been over there, if Notre Dame would actually join the freaking conference that all the other teams play in, they'd have been over there. They'd have been in it. Yeah, it is what it is. So, all right. So, hey, what's going on, Keith? So that's my breakdown. You know, it's you got Jeremy Pruitt over here, who's basically, you know, it's like he slapped your kid by accident. He's apologizing already, like he's trying to save his job. You got Dabo Swinney over here, who looks like he's about to bust a move and take his team to the nightclub. Nick Saban and Kirby Smart right in the middle, just kind of driving along. I will say Coach O got out there and basically said everything. That guy from Waterboy was absolutely. Coach O got out there and he talked about the kind of offense they're going to run. He talked about the changes to the defense they made. He talked about where his weakest players were. He talked about everything that I would never tell a soul. You'd have to play me to find any of that stuff out. He's talking about the coaching changes. I mean, just all. If you want to know how to beat LSU, go listen to his interview because he tells you everything. I got to take some Zyrtec, man. So it's been it was one of the more interesting ones I've seen. I'll tell you that. I will say that I don't know where Florida's gonna. I don't know what Florida's gonna have to do to kind of stem this continuous erosion of players, though. Every time it seems like every week you look up, they've lost another player. Yeah, Coach O has surprised a lot of people. A lot of people didn't expect him to be there for a couple of years, especially the first time that guy got on camera. You're like, he had to be like the only. He reminded me of how he got that job, in which he's good at what he does, you know. But I didn't know that at the time, and I don't think many people did. It would be like watching this 19-year-old kid walk up, and you find out like he's like a sergeant major or something, and you're like, oh yeah, that's my hook gear. He's like a sergeant major or something, and then you find out the only way he got promoted was like he was in a unit. The last time we played your dogs in Death Valley, we beat y'all. When was the last time we played, Tiger? Anyway, he was like only two guys left in the platoon, and one was the captain, so they had to have a sergeant major. So that private got the job because everybody else got killed or whatever. That reminds me, when I saw that guy, I was like, that's the only way he got that job. They had nobody else to pick. 2001 R, 2014. That's the last time we played in Death Valley and y'all beat us? That may be the case. It's a close game. But overall, the record is pretty one-sided. But Coach O, man, he's got out there and he's changed the program in Athens. 1 out of the last 7 games. Yeah, I knew it was one-sided. So, nose is itching. So Coach O, he said that they're going to change to a. I wish I'd have went to that game. Coach O is changing their offense, for those of you who don't know, to a spread offense. Sorry, this is out of conversation, but which team in college football has the most national championships? I'm pretty sure that would be Alabama, but I'm not 100% sure. That was an unsportsmanlike conduct call that gave LSU a good return attempt. I don't remember that, but I can assure you if Keith put it out there, that's what happened. Georgia beat Clemson the last time they played. Gurley and Chubb ran through the defense they had, and Vic and Beasley and Jarrett and Grady. I believe I was at that game. I believe that was that game. I don't know. I don't know that one. Oh, by the way, Keith, Stephanie, if you're watching, happy birthday and stuff. You guys have a good time, man. I believe it was the first game of the year. First games of the year always make me nervous, man. If it's a ranked opponent or somebody that should be ranked or could be ranked, or it's a Power 5 school that's got a pretty good tradition, it always makes me nervous. Always. How do I think the Falcons are going to do this year? I don't know, Benjamin. I don't really keep up with the Falcons too much. I don't really keep up with pro sports too much, because to me, once they go pro, I kind of lose interest in them, honestly. Like, I'll watch, like, let's say that you graduated this year and you go to pro next year. I'll probably keep up with those players that left UGA and went pro that year for that year, and then after that, I'm on to the next one. I don't keep up much with pro ball, and the reason I keep up with pro ball is because, in my opinion, they just don't play with the same heart that you see in college football, and that's just a big turnoff for me. So if they're not there to show out and to go wide open, and for whatever reason, I can't get interested in it. I will tell you though, lately I've been watching more and more Atlanta United games, and those actually, once you start learning a little bit about the sport, they're actually pretty interesting. My daughter likes Dr. Phil, so it was a big compliment, not a dig. Thanks, John. I appreciate that, man. You have to at least keep up with the UGA players. I do for a while, but after a while, man, I'm always excited about the recruiting process and the teams we're playing this year, and it's a lot. Believe it or not, it's a lot to keep up with. Just to sit down and watch Kirby Smart, Jake Fromm, Nick Saban, the defensive guy that he chose to speak at media days. Can't remember his name, but that guy did really, really well under those cameras. Let's see, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, Jake Fromm, that other kid, defense, Obergeron, Jimbo Fisher, Gus Malzahn, Jeremy Pruitt, Dan Mullen, Will Muschamp. That's 10 right there. So if those average 20 minutes, let's just say it averaged 20 minutes, some are longer, some are shorter. 20 minutes, that's 200 minutes. That's what, 3.5 hours? That's 3.5 hours of just watching interviews, just so that we can have something to talk about on an hour show. I'm interested in the stuff, but some of the stuff they talk about, their teams, I really don't care, but I want to make sure I know what's going on. I think, let's see, I'm going to check all my Bulldog sites between 10 to 20 times a day. Whew, good night. I think UGA had J.R. Reed, Andrew Thomas, and Fromm there. I think so. I didn't watch all of those guys. I just watched Fromm and Smart. South Carolina, Death Valley, Williams-Brice Stadium, 19-10 in Death Valley, and 49-37 in Williams-Brice Stadium. Whew. Do you think Justin Fields made a bad decision? Did I think he made a bad decision to go to Ohio State? It's hard to say. It's really, really hard to say. I think that he probably made the best decision that he could make. He knew that offense. He knows that offense. That team really was a better fit for him than what UGA was play style. Why he picked UGA, I don't know why he even picked us. I mean, I'm glad he did, I guess, but I don't know why he picked us. He saw that Jake Fromm just went to a national championship. Now, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the moxie of, you think you're going to go in there and take this job away from a guy who just damn near won Georgia a national championship. That's brave. But you've never stepped on the field. And so you got a whole lot to prove. If you want to take this job away, you got to be performing at a level that makes them want to name new awards about you. And I just didn't see that. And I keep going back to the one play in my mind that sticks in my head. Andrew Thomas' story on Ben Cleveland's knife was pretty funny. I'll have to watch that. There was no way he was taking Fromm's job, and he should have been redshirted. I absolutely agree with that. He never, ever They never should have burned his red shirt. I think they did him a huge injustice when they told him that. But I don't know. I don't know what the conversation was that he had with Kirby Smart. This is exactly what Keith is saying now. Of him saying, "You got to play me. I got to play. If you don't play me, I got to go." I mean, so you don't know if that was there too. So the promises may have been made, and it may have been Georgia's attempt to try and, hang on to this guy, because we do need a good backup quarterback. But the one play I keep going back to, that I'm fixing to describe a play, and then I'm going to describe why that play pisses me off. So Justin Fields was in, I can't remember who we were playing, middle of the season, throws a pass, it gets batted up in the air. Justin Fields has to run backwards like 2 yards to catch it. For whatever reason, actually catches it, which is dumb. Catches the ball and runs backwards and gets tackled again. When you are UGA or any other top school, you will always recruit 5-star QBs. That's the way it's supposed to go. Hey, Sarah, thanks for jumping on the channel. So to me, it showed that his football IQ was not there yet. It just wasn't there. Anybody with any sense would have seen that ball come back and would have let it hit the ground, because then the ball goes back to the line of scrimmage instead of you trying to create some miracle, and we ended up back an additional 10 yards. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Dan Nullenvoid will get his pulled. Good night, Bruce. Yeah, I don't think Kirby was that impressed with Fields. It seemed obvious. That play stands out in my mind and will always stand out in my mind, because I can't find any way to excuse that behavior. You can't tell me freshman jitters and then say this guy's supposed to be able to take the job away from Jake Fromm. It doesn't make sense. You put him in and he's supposed to move with his legs, and I only saw 1 or 2 plays where he really did that, so it wasn't like having another Todd Gurley standing in the backfield. That takes me back to the year that Auburn beat us off a tipped ball. We had the game won. And they throw basically a Hail Mary pass, and what does our 2 backs do? Instead of knocking the ball down, we try to catch it, we tip it up in the air, their guy catches it and runs it in for a touchdown. So to me, that the football IQ was not there. Yeah, so he's going to Ohio State. Good for him. I wish him the best. I'm not mad at the kid. I'm not saying I wished he'd have went to Ohio State. I wish we could have kept him on the team, because he is a 5-star talented player. Maybe he could have worked through that. But do I think that Justin Fields is going to go out and win the Heisman? Not even close. In my opinion, I don't think he's any better than Felipe Franks. If that hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. Jake had a nice interview pop up in my feed yesterday. He really is a nice young man. He's extremely well spoken. He seems to think about what he's saying before he ever gets there, so yeah. Hey Keith, check out this new cup, man. I think it's cool. Do you think LSU is a big threat this year? Yes. Absolutely I do. However, he's changing his offensive play style, so I don't know how that's going to work out. We'll just have to wait and see. Dawes will get her done this year. Certainly in the hunt. He likes to fish, so he has to be a good guy. There are some guys that I've been fishing with that I couldn't stand, so maybe. He's a gentleman, like your new mug. Oh yeah, this was from, what's the name of this place? Duck House Sports. I think they went out of business because I bought this at a liquidation shop, and I thought it was really cool. They had it marked down to, I think, $12.99. It's insulated. I like it. It didn't come with a straw. I had to provide my own straw. And use metal straws. Don't use plastic straws. Plastic straws kills animals and whatnot, so let's not use those if you can. Fromm is from a good family. You hate on the field bad. Let him go. He's not at UGA anymore. I hate on Fields? Honest Gabe, you saying I hate on Fields? I'm not trying to hate on the guy. I'm just trying to be honest. Paul Feinbaum is obsessed with Clemson. Paul Feinbaum is a shock jock who's going to talk about anybody he can to get ratings. And what's that other guy's name? The guy that does all the, is it, it's not Carson Daly. Is it Carson? Carson. He wears all them different mascot heads and whatnot. He's the same thing, man. He just does all that for attention. A lot of times that guy intentionally picks the wrong team or that he thinks he's going to win or lose just so he can create a reaction. How do you think Jacob Eason is going to do at Washington? I think that their play style is probably more along the lines of what Jacob Eason needs to be successful. Jacob Eason is a big guy, has a big arm. I can absolutely see him playing in the NFL one day. He did have some issues at Georgia where he would continue to overthrow receivers, and I don't know if that was because we didn't have proper quarterback coaches for his style. I mean, the guy can throw the ball an incredibly long way, but so much that he's overthrowing some of the fastest receivers in college football. I mean, the guy has an incredible arm. If he can get that zoned in and he can get tightened in, they give him the right receivers out there, you could be hearing a lot about him. Yeah, he's not going to see crazy defenses, and he's much more mature. I agree, but I want to see it first. I really want to see him first. And he's another one of those players. I don't wish him ill will. I don't. Trevor Lawrence arm versus Jacob Eason's. As far as distance goes, Jacob Eason. Go back and watch some of his long ball passes. That guy can stand on the 20-yard line and hit the end zone. Yeah. That guy, Jacob Eason, has a hell of an arm. I mean, think about this. Stand on the 20-yard line on this side of the field and hit the goal line on the other side. I mean, he could throw a football. There's no doubt. Hey, what's going on, Ryan? Haven't seen you in a hot minute, dude. How'd you find me, Ryan? Yeah, he was terrible in the pocket. It's like he had on concrete blocks for feet, man. How's it going, Ryan? You holding up pretty good, man? For those of you who don't know, Ryan Copeland is a buddy of mine and Keith that oh, nice. Thanks, Keith. We used to go to arcade and stuff together. I'll tell you how far back we go. Ryan's a good dude, man. Ryan's a good dude. So the general thing is that there's been a lot of players that have left. Carolina Jackpot is addicted to the gambling, wastes money on scratch-offs. Bruce, where did the hate come from all of a sudden? Are UGA fans getting trolled by Clemson fans? Or a couple of trolls hitting up Bama feeds? I haven't seen anything from any Clemson fans. I don't even think that they're considering playing us. I think most Clemson fans are lining up considering they're going to have to play Alabama. So it doesn't bother me. I like flying under the radar. So, lost my train of thought. Goodness. Let me scroll back. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. And Keith and I had kind of talked on this a little bit. It's interesting that there is a potential that if Ohio State does well and they can run that conference and Jacob Eason runs that conference, it's possible that you could have 3 UGA quarterbacks in the playoffs at the same time. It is statistically possible. So to me, that would be really interesting to see what would happen. Can you imagine what would happen if UGA played Ohio State and it was pretty easy to see that Justin Fields just overwhelmed Jake Fromm with his arm? I mean, you would never hear the end of that. And same thing with Jacob Eason. Clemson fans surprisingly are pretty cool with UGA fans, and they hate Bama fans. So it's always interesting when you hear that kind of talk from around the league on how some fans get along and some don't. Let's get the Bill Belichick already. If you guys made it this far, hit the like and thumbs up button. Share it on social media, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you got there. Share it around for me. Really appreciate it. I am trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the beginning of the season, and I have a long way to go. It's kind of an ambitious goal, and I started pushing probably too late. but the How's Your Saturday feed really didn't get going until after kind of after the summer had been rolling along. Oh man, so it's been really interesting so far about how everything's going on, and I'm really excited. There's not much longer left to college football. I am going to be doing a video on Georgia's roster and what we've got coming back. I haven't done that video yet. I've done it for a lot of other teams. I've done Clemson, I've done Alabama, I've done Auburn, done Florida. I'm not really worried about South Carolina. I'm not really worried about Tennessee. I could probably do one on LSU, especially now that I know that they're going to a new system. Texas A&M, I could probably do a video on those guys, but it's about time to do the Georgia video. VTW Clemson fans, like UGA fans, it must be joking. Clemson fan only loves a troll. Oh, I'd like to see Fromm throw for 3,500 this year with 35 touchdowns and maybe 4 picks. Trent Thompson's one of my favorite students. Trent Thompson's a cool dude, that's for sure. What do I think of Oklahoma? I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna tackle Jay's comment, and then I'm gonna tackle yours, Bill. While it would be amazing to see Jake Fromm throw for 3,500, I think Georgia is more run-based, or they're so much run-based that it would be pretty difficult to get to 3,500 passing yards and 35 touchdowns like that without really cutting into the run game, and that's kind of been our bread and butter. What I think you're likely to see is you're going to see an increase in yardage, but it's going to be from deep passes rather than just an overall more air raid type of offense. So you probably, if we could get to probably 3,100, probably put the 30 to 32 touchdowns and maybe 4 picks, I think would be really good, and keep the run game where it's at. If we can do that, that's certainly a national championship caliber offense. Let me get back to Bill. What do I think about Oklahoma? Oklahoma has some outstanding receivers, and I think they're going to help Jalen Hurts out quite a bit. Jalen Hurts does not have a phenomenal arm, and he can move with his feet. So they've got to change their offense a little bit. But I mean, he played for Alabama. The guy knows how to play football. He's got good football IQ. He's going to be fine. I just want to see him beat the hell out of Texas, to be honest with you. Was teaching a Mark Rick walked past my room, and I was like, huh, that's random. Yeah, that's great. I think it's round 3 is probably more like it. I think around 3 is probably more like it. I think Pickens and Blaylock will have us saying Holloman who. I want to see George Pickens have a killer year. I think George Pickens has the ability to step out there. If you can see Eric Stokes step up, if you can see, and there was actually talk in the media in media days about Monte Rice. If you see those guys step up, Blaylock and Pickens step up, Demetrius Robinson step up, you will see those passing numbers increase, even if Jake Fromm just continues to play the way he's playing. Back when Jacob Eason had his first year, I was losing my mind on the number of dropped balls. I mean, the ball would hit them in the face and they would drop it. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, you are a college football wide receiver. How are you dropping this ball? So to me, seeing the difference that they can catch balls, but seeing the way Jake Fromm can thread a needle is so impressive. And if we can get those guys kind of all firing on the same cylinders, man, they're going to be dangerous. Hope Jalen has a good season. He needs a good year to boost his NFL ranking. I want to see him do well. He's really fought through some adversity. To be a 24-2 quarterback and lose your job has to be incredibly painful. And I think he's going to do really well at Oklahoma. I don't think anybody in the Big 10, Big 12 has seen anything like him. And I always get those mixed up, but I think it's Big 10. But I think they're down to like 4 teams now, so what's it matter? But he's going to do just fine out there. He should be able to torch that conference. 26-2. Thanks, Sarah. D-Rob, Simmons, and Trey Blount as a starting 3. Maybe. That's actually probably right. I always like your videos and come to dislike Aunt Lou, however. I like Lou. I think if you understand or if you allow, you have to allow him a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Tolerance. He's pretty boisterous. I like that. I like the passion. So to me, Uncle Lou he's definitely got a great niche that he's in. I'm glad that I can provide a little different spin and that guys like my stuff. Do you think baseball is boring to watch? It depends on the year. When I was watching the Braves get their teeth kicked in 13 to like 40 other day. That was an exciting game, even though we were losing, because they were just, man, that was interesting baseball. I typically won't watch a baseball game unless it's live. I like watching football or baseball in person. I like watching golf in person, but to watch it on TV, I can fall asleep. But if it's like in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning, 7th, 8th, 9th, really, I'll watch those all day. Yeah, that's to me, that's the only time baseball's worth watching. But not boring. I kind of get interested in trying to figure out what the pitcher's thinking and what the batter's thinking when they go to make the next pitch. And then you've got the commentator who's trying to describe what's going on, and sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. It's always just interesting. Looking forward to watching Alabama and UGA. I hope we both go to the Natty. We'll see. Man, keep going to the Braves game tonight. Is that a birthday Braves game? Is that what that is? UGA, we have the same logo as the Green Bay Packers. Let's go. UGA have the same logo as the Green Bay Packers? No. Our logo is slightly different. Green Bay come out with that logo. This is to tell you the kind of nerd fan I am. Green Bay come out with the logo prior to Georgia's logo. They're not the same. UGA, they added like the ring or something around it. I forget exactly what it was. And then they had to get permission from Green Bay to use it. But they're very, very similar. But they are in fact different. Oklahoma versus Alabama, Georgia versus Clemson, college football playoff. Certainly a possibility, but I would not be surprised if you see Oklahoma make a few mistakes, Texas make a few mistakes, Ohio State not make any mistakes, because that conference is really not that strong this year. Ohio State certainly has a possibility of getting in the college football playoffs. Don't go to the Braves game. Iron Maiden is at Lakewood. My man said Iron Maiden is at Lakewood. Go to that instead. I think him and his wife and kids are going to go to they're going to go to that Braves game, dude. Yep. And just so you guys know, when you guys make comments in the comment section or in the chat feed, which is awesome, there's a delay. If you didn't know that, I know some of you guys know that, some of you guys don't. So some of the times I've made a comment that one of you guys makes and it actually shows up in the feed and I've already made the comment by the time I see it. Orioles baseball game has been a nutshell. I don't watch the Orioles, so I couldn't reflect on that. Will college football be boring if Alabama wins it again? No, I don't think so. I think that you're probably, well, let me explain it like this. When Georgia played Alabama for the SEC championship and for the national championship, those two games had more viewers than all the other games. So to me, I think it's about the rivalry. I would love to get to the point where we're winning so many national championships that it's boring, but I think that you're going to see, if Georgia goes 12-0, we get to the SEC championship and we lose that game, it's still possible that Georgia could get in a national championship race or in the college football playoffs. It's one of the things that hurt us last year. Lost to LSU. Hadn't lost to LSU, we'd have gotten a college football playoff. Impossible for college football to be boring. I'm not sure why that's a question. I can watch college football even if it's two teams I don't know, never watched before. I can watch those guys play football. I can pick a team, colors, how the team's acting on the field, whatever. I can pick that one team and I can root for them and have a good time watching those guys play football. I can watch high school football, just anything except pro. I can't get wrapped up in pro. It just doesn't. I don't know why. Wisconsin versus Iowa, kind of boring. Yeah, kinda. The thing, are you talking about the Iowa State, or are you talking about Iowa? because I like watching the Iowa Hawkeyes play. I got some friends from back in the Midwest that's two teams that just run at each other over and over. Yeah, they do that. But the thing I like about Iowa is that Iowa, you never know what you're going to get out of that coach, man. That guy can have a wildly crazy good season and a less than average season. But at the Iowa games, at halftime, they always turn around and they wave. Like the whole stadium waves there's a children's hospital that's built right into the corner of it. And everybody waves to the kids. It's really, really cool sentiment. I really like that about that team. It's one of those things about college football that I really just love. I love the atmosphere in college football. I think all college football games should be played on a college campus, unless it's a national championship game or something like that. But Aunt Lou hates Trump. Shows how dumb he. One thing I will tell you about Uncle Lou is Uncle Lou is a superb troll. He knows how to troll people. He knows how to wind people up. And I would be highly surprised if you actually know what his true feelings are on that stuff. He'll throw stuff out there that I know for a fact that is absolutely, he is 100% the other way. We don't talk about politics on my channel. The reason we don't talk about politics on my channel is because there ain't a thing in the world any of these politicians are going to do to make my football team better, to make your football team better, to make the fans like them less or the fans like them more. When it comes to college football, it unites all people, young, old, tall, small. It doesn't matter. 18 to 80, blind, cripple, or crazy. If you like your team, you like your team. And I've had guys that we have very, very different political affiliations, but when football's on, it's about football. It's not about all that other stuff. It just brings a lot of people together, and I love seeing that. So, and by the way, every channel that I've ever seen mix politics with whatever else their channel is, it's destroyed the channel. So I'm certainly not interested in doing that. I've worked pretty dead blame hard to try and provide content that everybody likes and everybody can enjoy and take their mind off of the day-to-day BS that we all have to endure, just so that we can all have a good time. We've all got the same right to go out and vote for whoever we want to go and vote for, so do that and let that be your opinion. But as for me and mine, we're going to stick to football. Football is something I can talk intelligently about. The other stuff, I just leave it alone. Well, I look at it this way. The dog's been around way before any of these politicians is in here. Now, the dog's gonna be around long after all these politicians are gone. So I'm gonna stick with the dogs. They may let me down, but they ain't let me down nothing like what some of these politicians have. So I'm gonna stick with the dogs. Never had a bad time at Sanford Stadium. I've never had a bad time at really any of the other games I've been to at a college football game. I've been to G-Day, I think 3 times now. I've been to William Bryce Stadium 2 or 3 times. I've been to Columbia, Missouri. Mizzou played there. I've been to the Belk Bowl. Where else have I been? I've probably been to a couple others. But at the end of the day, man, I love the college environments, and I will tell you that every team that we have ever played, the fans from the other side, which I've never been to an Auburn game, so I can't say this always the case, but every game that I've been to, the fans, if it's their home stadium, they've always been pretty cordial. They've always been pretty nice, and so I've never had a bad experience. When was the last time UGA has lost at Sanford Stadium? I want to say it was like 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And I want to say it was Alabama beat us at home, but I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong. I've been to Toilet Bowl. Had a bad experience in Neyland Stadium. I hate that damn Rocky Top. They play it too much. Well, if you want to hear somebody play something too much, go to William Bryce Stadium and listen to how many times they play that damn rooster. First down. Second down. Third down. Touchdown. Punt the ball. Halftime. Damn sandstorm 500 times, man. You go to that stadium, you're going to hear that rooster. It's going to wear you out, man. And their fans, they love it, though, man. They love it. That stadium does, whenever I went, which was before Muschamp was the head coach, 10th down. It was before Muschamp was there. Their fans still showed up, even when they were having a hard time. Their fans showed up. We got out. Okay, he loves Trump now. We'll watch Uncle Lou knowing he lied to me. One of the things about Uncle Lou you got to understand is that he's done a good job of building his channel. There you go. He's done a good job. Hey Lou. He's done a good job of building his channel, and he's not going to sabotage it over something as silly as politics. He likes to troll people. He does a good job of it. There's been times that I've watched his channel that he's trolled other channels with people in the channel, and that's fine. I've helped him do it. It's all fun and games, and it's all about having a good time. He takes his stuff very seriously. He's helped me out on a ton of stuff, and he's never once been rude or brash or short with me. So I have to believe that what he does on his channel is just for entertainment. Last time he lost in Death Valley in 2016 versus Pittsburgh Panthers. Oh man, the Pittsburgh Panthers. Bruce is the type of guy who gets his feelings hurt politically at the drop of a hat, and he can't stand it. Snowflake jury levels 1 million. Oh Lou, golly. See, Bruce, I told you he's supreme at it, man. He's just cutting up. He's having a good time. So that's why I leave politics off my channel. I bet your neighbor cooking something good. What neighbor? What's up, Lou? I guess I'm gonna have to take Lou to a game to get him to help me get to this 2,000 mark. Nice neighborhood, sir. Yeah, my mom paid a lot of money to help me and my grandma move in here. It's nice. The Uncle Lou, for you guys that's in the channel, he's trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. He's really close. So if you guys go over and check his channel out, or you see him, make sure you share and subscribe to him. I love his content. He's what got me started in the biz. So no team stays on top. So young. Bama fans are going to learn a lesson the hard way. I'm a realist. I've been blessed to live through Bear Bryant and Nick Saban. Yep. I will see you in the valley. He says, what's up with Lou? How are you doing? What's up with Lou? How you doing, big dog? Doing good. I want to go to the Notre Dame game. You know anybody that needs a kidney? I know somebody that has a kidney. I don't want to give my own. I'd love to go to that game. I'm seriously considering going there and just tailgating outside. I could probably talk Keith into going. But yeah, it's been that's one game I really want to go see. Man, I want to go see that game. But looking at this upcoming season, Georgia has a lot of tools in the right place to make a real go at it. Thinking about maybe the Texas A&M game. That's a home game too, isn't it? Have to double check. Morning, Uncle Lou. Sarah's a sub. Yeah. I think that'll be a good game. I just don't want to see it go to 7 overtimes. They'd have to give me a pacemaker before I left. Glad you opined. You guys are something else, man. I really enjoy watching you guys get in here in the chat, in the comment section. Oh, one of these days I'm gonna figure out how to do the call-ins, kind of like what Uncle Lou does, because trying to read all the stuff is almost too much. Don't worry, they have the police in Athens. You know, that's one of the things this year that it's kind of toned down, or at least it seems it's toned down, You ain't seen as many guys getting arrested for the old Mary Jane. It used to be like every time, man, we'd see like 5 or 6 guys get picked up over that. Uncle Lou's glasses got me. He's got some good stuff, man. Clemson versus UGA for the Natty. That would be a good game. I'd love to see that. Tell your son to get you a refill. I would, but he's not out here. He's inside, man. I'm out of coffee and I'm out of water. I have it about rationed out so I can hit an hour and then I'm done, but I'm kind of feeling it today, so just letting the stream go. I got nothing else to do. He's actually a good kid, man. He's just, he's a teenager, so he's going through the growing pains. Gonna melt if I stay out there. Well, right now it's a little overcast, so it's not bad. I got a fan going right here, so it's not too bad. But I can promise you what I will not do, Lou. I will not sit in a garage like you do and melt trying to do a 24-hour show. That was intense. So for those of you who don't know, Uncle Lou did a 24-hour show, and he does it in his grandma's garage, and at least that's what he says. And he said it was like 105, 110 degrees out there at least, and I can absolutely believe it. Coffee in the summertime outside, man, I will drink. I was in the military. I will drink coffee 30 minutes before I go to bed. Coffee is just a flavor to me. It has no caffeine has no effect on me at this point. When I was in the Army, we used to get coffee you could chew. The liquid coffee is water to me. Those Gumps have refused to give the Tigers any credit that they deserve. They have to. They have to have a high confidence level if they're going to continue to play you again. They got to believe it was a fluke. Because if they go out, if they have to admit that you guys beat them up the field and down the field, it's a lot harder to get that team's head in the right position to go beat you. So I know why they do it. Doesn't make it right, but that's why they do it. Hey Lou, I have an extra ticket for you. We can have an interesting conversation and one about the dogs. Uncle Brew here. Uncle Brew here. You guys. My parents like the frosted coffee at Chick-fil-A. I didn't know they had frosted coffee at Chick-fil-A. I like coffee. I guess I can give that check that out. Do me a favor, you guys been on here this long, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, thumbs up, share it, kick us around on social media if you would. Trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the beginning of the season. Probably a little more ambitious than what I should have went after, but it is what it is. So no reason not to try. Appreciate that, Benjamin. Thanks, sir. When you was a Marine, we called coffee bug juice. Man. Well, appreciate your service, sir. 24 hours nothing. Try 120 hours in a closet-sized compartment on board a ship. Navy guy, thank you for your service, sir. I could have done the Marines. I could do the Army. I think anybody could pretty much do the Air Force if they put their mind to it, but I could not do the Navy. I cannot do a boat. I get motion sickness. It is not a pretty thing. So my hat's off to sailors. That is, to me, and the Coast Guard, that is some of the most impressive stuff that you can do, simply because it is beyond my physical ability, no matter what my mindset is. That's just, to me, just incredibly difficult to handle. Some guys handle it no problem, doesn't faze them a bit. Me, I'm over the side, man. It's not good. Chad Whitaker says chomp, chomp, chomp. I guess you're talking about Gators, man. We'll be seeing y'all soon, don't worry. I have friends that go Navy and Army. I'm an Army guy. I wish I would have went in the Air Force, but it was my pleasure. I was happy to do it. I wish I'd went in the Air Force. I probably would have learned more, but if I'd have went in the Air Force, my entire life would have changed from that point on. Probably wouldn't have met the person wouldn't have met my wife, wouldn't have my kids. I would be completely different. So I just have to thank God every day for the way everything turned out, and just say, that's the way it's supposed to be. ATL Legends were terrible, unfortunately. Oh, let me back up. I missed a comment. How do you think Atlanta Legends would have done if the AAF continued? They were terrible, unfortunately. I don't think they ever would have been any better than they were. I don't think the league was set up right. Yeah, Brett, but there are plenty of Marines on those ships, too. True that. I mean, anybody that will get on a boat, just because you're a Marine, you're still a sailor. I'm just saying. You can ride on a boat, you got my respect, because I sure as heck can't do it. I can't even ride the Gravitron. I struggle on a Ferris wheel, so no thank you. Please don't associate you calling you Navy. U.S. Coast Guard. I said Coast Guard. I said Coast Guard. You guys can swim like crazy. That's just nuts. You better give me some floaties on my arms if you want me to spend that much time in the water. Otherwise, leave me in the dirt. We used to call the Army guys dog faces. Yeah, I heard that. I've heard that 100 times, man. Old dog face. I used to get called, what was that we used to call us? Mud grunts. They used to call us mud grunts. So, it's, man, we were running on about an hour and a half. Holy cow. I'm starting to lose my voice. That is the most random statement. He's like, I like hot dogs. I'm eating lunch now. Bill, I don't know anybody that don't like hot dogs, brother. I have friends all over Baltimore metropolitan area and the Washington metropolitan area. That's a big gap, Tiger. That's a big gap. God bless our veterans. My dad was a retired U.S. Navy. He served as a combat medic during Vietnam. Wow. He wore both Navy and Marine uniforms. Wow, that is a real hero, Sarah. Thank you. Tell your dad thank you if he's still around. What game do you have circled on the Dog schedule? The first one and every one after that. I circle every game. I love every game. Take it easy, Tiger. To me, I can't wait. I almost hate bye weeks unless we need to heal up. I love it. I absolutely love it. The moment that they tell me a game's played, when I wake up Saturday morning, I'm angry if the game's more than an hour away. Like if the game is at 12 o'clock and I wake up at 9, I'm mad because I want to be watching the game. If I wake up Saturday morning and my wife tells me she wants to go do something, I'm like, let's go right now. Let's go right now. Because I'm gonna be back at the house by the time the game comes on. I'm not even joking. Saturday mornings, yeah, poor planning. Yeah. Well, when you're married, some of your planning's made for you. You know how that goes. I've left family functions. I've not showed up to family functions. I have come home by myself, watched the game, went back and picked up my wife and kids. When it comes to college football, it's pretty difficult to find somebody who loves it as much as I do. The Florida and Bama games are must-win, and losing isn't an option. Every game to me is a must-win. Gotta love those Navy corpsmen. I do. Anybody that's in the service, to me, whether you're a police officer, fireman, EMT, and EMT is kind of a different animal, and I'm not going to go into why or how, but if you do something along those lines, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Army, Coast Guard, any of those guys, if you raise your hand, volunteer your time, and put your life on the line, you step out there in that traffic, whether it's bullet traffic, whether it's car traffic, whether it's fist fight traffic, you step out in there, you've got my respect. I may disagree with you on a lot of things, but I still respect you for what you do. What's going on, Brian Denny? I haven't seen that name. That's an interesting name. I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Again, just doing a little bit longer show. Hey, big dog, man. It took me forever to chat with you, with all of you and you. Glad you made it, Michael. Is that Michelle or Michael? Because I don't want to get it wrong. My Uncle Lou said my brother got married on a game day. This was before smartphones, and every picture I'm wearing a headset. Yes, that you would have been lucky to have me showed up. It is well known at my house. Michael, okay. I just want to make sure I said your name right. It's well known around me that if the dogs are on or going to be on, don't schedule a family function. Don't ask me to go fishing. I don't care if you're getting married. I don't care if you died. I'll come to your grave afterwards. If you're on your deathbed, they better give you some morphine and prop you up till the game's over, because I'm not coming. Unless one of my kids is hurt, and then it's going to depend on how bad, I'm watching the game. I kid you not, we have been driving cross country, and I have my iPad going with the PlayStation Network on it, watching the games on my iPad. Not even joking. I used to work for a garage door company in Omaha, Nebraska. If you ever want some entertainment, purposely say people's names wrong. Players, viewers, whatever, get popcorn, sit back and enjoy. Yeah, you're right, Lou. There are some people get bent out of shape about their names. And Keith is also right. It was like, they have to be injured, not hurt. You seen G.I. Jane? Are you injured or are you hurt? I'm just hurt. Okay. Well, off we go from, golly, it always surprises me how many people get wound up in Uncle Lou's comment section on Jake Fromm. It's from, and the other thing that blows my mind is how many people get wound up about him going fishing. People get wound up about that too. An earthquake can wait till the game finishes, then we can panic. That's right. Driving somewhere, and traditionally I drive all the time. Hey Ryan, I know you got a PlayStation. Get PlayStation View. Costs you like $45-50 a month. You can get rid of cable entirely. You can watch every sports game they make, all the college football, SEC network, all that stuff. Yeah, that's what I watch, man. That's one of the big. I got rid of. You ready for this? DirecTV. That's just for you, Uncle Lou. So that I could watch PlayStation Network. View doesn't have some locals down in South Georgia. Well, FaceTime me, Ryan, and I will, matter of fact, I'll give you my login info. Oh yeah, well, I guess we are spoiled up here. I'll give you my login info. You can change your locale to mine. Use free sport websites to watch college football. I tried that, and I just really wasn't. Man, every time I go to B-Dubs, I buy way too much. I drink cold beer, eat hot wings, and French fries the whole game. Leave there weighing like 40 pounds more than I came in with. Hey Daniel, what's the wife cooking today? I think she's making homemade chicken and dumplings. That's one of the reasons that I'm big dog Brett instead of skinny dog Brett, is I have a phenomenal cook for a wife and a phenomenal wife for a cook. But man, PlayStation View is the way to go. Absolutely the way to go. It's one of those things that I wish I would have discovered sooner. I am very lucky. It is delicious. And by the way, my wife, Jay Bolton, you can download the PlayStation View app on any smart device. I believe you can also download it on your computer. And then you have to subscribe for that particular program. And there's like 3 or 4 different packages you can pick. And I don't think I have the highest one. I have like the next to highest one. It's still only like $50 a month. Roku Ultra. A lot of people use that. Golly, I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Oh, to tell you how lucky of a guy I am, my wife makes chicken and dumplings a certain way for the kids, but I don't like the dumplings, so she actually makes me my own dumplings. That's how spoiled I am. Yep, it's a streaming service you can use on any streaming device, phone, or your PC. Yep. Sarah says yummy, and she is absolutely right. That woman can cook. Oh, I'm thinking about smoking a Boston butt today. I don't know. Making some pulled pork. Have that for tomorrow. Smoke it all night long. Well guys, we're about an hour and a half in. This is by far the longest stream I've ever done. Can't tell you how much I really appreciate you guys. Am I into any video games? If so, EA makes another NCAA Cup. Will you create a dynasty will that be cool? No, I will not do that. And I'll tell you the best person to reach out to that would be Uncle Lou. He's already got the Xbox NCAA thing set up on his stuff. He's already got the capture cards or whatever it is he does it. He shows all the stats. He's got a great format for that. Reach out to his channel, and he will. I'm sure he will be glad to take you down that road. But if you guys would share it around social media, I'm going to continue to try to do the How's Your Saturday. Obviously, I'm creating the acronym now of the HYS, just as it doesn't fill up the whole screen. Ryan says, I miss the old EQ days sometimes. Man, all the time, man. I went back and tried to play it the other day. I just don't have the time to invest in it. It's too grindy. Daniel, Daniel, are you the same Daniel that's Daniel Moore on Facebook? Just to be clear. Wait, how national championship? How many? It depends on how you. It depends on how you look at it. Some say 2, some say 3, and some say 6. So, yeah. 1, right? We could try it. We could try it, Ryan. Sarah Lee. Maiden name. Maiden name is Swift. And if I'm not. There you go. That's a fake Daniel Moore. That's what I thought. I wasn't sure. But like I said, we're running an hour and a half, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Every time I get on here, I'm always surprised that there's people that get on here and have a conversation with me. It's very flattering and very humbling, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for your time, guys. You guys have a great day. Please tune in soon. We'll have more. I'm going to do the Georgia video this week, and we'll get it up pretty quick. So thanks again, guys. You guys have a great day. And as always, God bless. Go Dogs.